Hello everyone, this is Sumita. Welcome to English Tutorial Edu. Today we are going to discuss the English sample paper of 2023-24 for class 10 of CBSE. First, we are going to look at the reading comprehension. We know that we should be reading the questions first and then moving on to the passage. But since we are discussing the question paper, we are going to first look at the passage and then move on to the questions. As a high school student, studying poetry can be a roller coaster ride. This journey is punctuated by moments of profound appreciation for simpler pieces and intermittent frustration with more complex works. Let's be real here, some poems are just plain confusing and no amount of rereading seems to help decipher the intended meaning. The puzzlement that results from such instances can be both vexing and demotivating. If solving a riddle is what was intended, then playing Sudoku is a better option. One is led to ponder if obscurity was the goal. So in this paragraph, we can see that the reader is telling that reading poetry can give us a profound appreciation. We like to read poetry, but sometimes there are moments of frustration. That is, we felt confused and angry. Okay. Another thing that a reader is telling is if one wants to solve a riddle, one should do a Sudoku instead of reading a puzzling poem. Next paragraph says, conversely, some pieces resonate with the reader's soul, stirring feelings of warmth, happiness, and connection to the world. Often these compositions center on themes that are universally understood, such as love, nature, or faith. Being able to actually understand what the poet is trying to say can feel like a victory and is a welcome relief after grappling with more perplexing poetry. So some poems are simple and the reader feels happy after reading it. The third passage says, then there are poems that are emotionally charged, the ones that make the reader curl up in a ball and cry or jump up and down with joy. One is left in awe of the poet's ability to convey emotions through words. Let us not forget the downright weird poems, strange poems. These are the ones that defy categorization. They don't fall into any category and leave the reader to their own devices in attempting to interpret the meaning. The author's use of figurative language, that is literary devices and unconventional imagery can create a sense of bewilderment that is either intriguing or off-putting. Regardless, the reader can appreciate the uniqueness of work. So some poetry can be confusing, but they are of course unique. Despite the wide range of emotions and reactions that come with studying poetry, it can be a rewarding pursuit. Not only does reading poetry allow one to appreciate the artistic beauty of the written word, but also enables one to develop crucial critical thinking and analytical skills. So it helps us in developing our critical thinking and analytical skills also. The process of unlocking a poem's meaning can feel like cracking a code or solving a puzzle, but the sense of accomplishment derived from mastering a challenging piece can be deeply gratifying. So we can feel a sense of satisfaction after uncoding that kind of complex poetry. Finally, impressing an English teacher with well-analyzed poem can be a source of pride and validation. So you can impress your English teacher after fully uncoding a complex poetry. The last paragraph says, overall studying poetry is like a box of mixed chocolates. You never know what you are going to get, but whether it is complex, emotional, simple, or just downright weird, there's always something to be gained from the experience. So let us applaud all the poets out there for making us laugh, cry, scratch our heads, and occasionally feel like a genius. So there are ups and downs of reading poetry. Now let us move on to the questions. Answer the following questions based on the passage above. Which of the following statements best describe the author's attitude towards studying poetry? So this is of 1 marks. The author finds the poetry to be frustrating and meaningless endeavor. Endeavor means work. Believes that the emotional roller coaster of studying poetry is not worth the effort, or recognizes the challenges of studying poetry but also acknowledges the rewards it offers. feels that poetry is too obscure and abstract for the average person to appreciate. So answer is recognizes the challenges of studying poetry but also acknowledges the rewards it offers. So in the first paragraph itself we have seen that the poet is telling, though it can be confusing but it can also be satisfying. The next question is, what is the tone of the writer in the given lines from the paragraph 1? Rationalize your response in about 40 words. So we have to write an answer in 40 words. The line is, if solving riddle is what was intended, then the playing Sudoku is a better option. One is led to ponder if obscurity was the goal. So what is the tone of this line? The answer is, the tone of this poem is critical and sarcastic as evident from the given line. The author expresses his frustration over poems that prioritize obscurity over clarity, making it difficult for the readers to understand. The readers feel confused and it robs the pleasure of reading poetry. So one feels a lot confused and does not get the entire pleasure of reading poetry. Next is complete the sentence appropriately. So this is a kind of sentence completion. The author's use of vivid imagery in paragraph 3, such as curl up in a ball and cry and jump up and down, greatly affects the reader because, what effect it has on the reader? Because it creates a vivid imagery. We can find the picture in our minds, and increases the reader's understanding of the intensity of emotion that can be expressed through poetry. The next question is, the passage includes some words that are opposites of each other. From sets A to E below, identify 2 sets of antonyms. So we have to find the opposite words. Intriguing and off-putting, both means difficult. Okay, we don't like to read it. B is deciphering and interpreting. They also mean the same. They are synonyms. Appreciated and applauded, same things, being praised. Simple and challenging. Now these are opposite words. Okay, and the last one is emotions and feelings. So answer is simple and challenging. Next question is, complete the sentence appropriately. We can say that the author's tone becomes more neutral and objective when discussing weird poems compared to the other types of poetry because. Answer is, the author admits that complicated poems can prove to be challenging. However, he also acknowledges that weird poems are unique. So, strange poems are unique as well as challenging. The next question is, based on the reading of the passage, examine in about 40 words how studying poetry can be like exploring a new city. So here it is a comparison between reading poetry and visiting a new city. The answer is, just like exploring a new city is an exciting and challenging activity, similarly reading a new poetry gives us an opportunity to explore new styles and experiences. Both activities need an openness of mind and the ability to accept new experiences. The next question is, what is the message conveyed by Hina's experience in the following case? So one case is given here. Hina spends hours trying to analyze a poem for her assignment and finally feels a sense of accomplishment and pride once she understands. The options are, only those with natural talent for poetry should engage with it. B is, persistence makes studying poetry a rewarding pursuit. Study of poetry is guaranteed to impress others. D is, the efforts of studying poetry is inversely proportional to the rewards gained. So answer is, persistence makes studying poetry a rewarding pursuit because Hina spends hours trying to analyze a poem and finally feels a sense of accomplishment. The next question is, state whether the following lines display an example of simple, complex, emotionally charged or downright weird poem. Let us read the poem. The sun rises in the east, a new day begins, a fresh start, birds chirp, nature wakes up, a peaceful feeling in my heart. This is an example of a simple poem. It is easy to comprehend and leaves us with a happy feeling by connecting us with nature. So let us move to the next passage. It is again of 10 marks. Let us read the passage first here, but in the exam hall, of course, we are going to read the question first and then move on to the passage. Reduction in green areas has caused various environmental problems. People squeezed between concrete structures are looking for various ways to meet their longing for green. One of the ways to do so is vertical gardens and green walls. Vertical gardening is a unique method of gardening where plants are grown in vertical position or upward rather than in the traditional method of planting them on the ground. So we can grow them in bottles or some containers on the walls. The purpose of vertical gardens and green walls, which arise from the studies of different disciplines, landscape architects, engineers, etc., is to close the cold image of concrete and increase the visual value. In these systems, nature and structures are integrated, and thus urban areas and the desired environment have become intertwined. So the purpose of vertical garden is to make the concrete structures look more visually appeasing. Vertical garden case studies often show that though functionality should be in the foreground when vertical gardens are planted, they are generally made as aesthetic elements in the city's underpasses and city squares and decorative elements in residences without seeking functionality. Experts support that visual quality and evaluation of landscape architecture is determined based on the satisfaction of the users. Hence, a survey of questionnaire was prepared for residents of varied age groups from metropolitan city. The given table 1 displays these responses. So, a survey was done, and this table shows us the results of the survey. So, first we see that total number of participants were 400. And what are the survey statements are given in this, and then whether people strongly agree, neutral, disagree, or strongly disagree. Vertical gardens improve quality of people in urban areas. We see most of them strongly agree. Reduces noise pollution. We see most of them agree. Increases air quality indoors and outdoors. We see that most people strongly agree. Reduce energy and water consumption. We see that most people are neutral. They don't have any idea. Positively impact global warming. We see that most people agree. Have a relaxing and calming effect. We see most people agree. Cost too much. We see most people are neutral. They don't have any idea. Makes plants look beautiful. Most people strongly agree. Add naturalness to environments. We see most people agree. Are among determining factors to visit a place. We see most people are neutral. Are inconvenient indoors. We see most people disagree. Can be applied in every place. We see most people agree. Have functional features. We see 207 people agree. Distract drivers. We see 131 people disagree. Funds are best used for social issues. We see 130 people disagree. So let us read the first. So now let us read the last paragraph. The study acknowledged that vertical garden has the potential to transform urban spaces into green sustainable areas, and further research should be explored. And further research should explore the impact of vertical gardening on the environment and human well-being. So let us see the questions. Complete the following analogy appropriately based on your understanding of paragraphs 1 and 2. We can say that the situation of the people living in concrete structures is comparable with fish living in a fishbowl, and the need for vertical gardens to the need for decorations in the fishbowl, because we can say that like fish in a fishbowl, humans too are trapped in limited spaces that are far from nature. Like them, humans too need to artificially plant plants around them for a healthy life. So you need to be close to nature, and like we put plants in a fishbowl, we should also be surrounding ourselves with plants, even if artificially. Fill blanks with the appropriate option from those given in brackets based on your understanding of paragraph 2. This is of 1 mark. The statement that Urban spaces have become more closely connected with the desired natural surroundings through incorporation of nature and structures in vertical gardens and green wall is an opinion. Okay, so it is not a fact because it is a subjective judgment. Okay, rather than an objective detail. So answer is opinion and subjective judgment. Next question is justify the following in about 40 words. While the survey results suggest that vertical gardens may be effective in improving the quality of life in urban areas, further research and evaluation may be necessary to fully understand their effectiveness and potential drawbacks. We can answer, yes, it is true, because while most of the participants agreed that vertical gardens can be beneficial in improving the quality of life and purifying the air, however, the survey results does not specify clearly whether it would prove to be effective in the long run. It also does not mention anything about its impact on other social aspects like traffic or community engagement. The next question is, based on the survey results, which two concerns should city government look to install vertical gardens address? The city government should look into the following concerns while installing vertical gardens. 1. Distraction for drivers in areas of installation. 2. Maintenance and cost of installing vertical gardens. The next question says, select the option that correctly displays what intertwined signifies. So these are the pictures, and which do you think intertwined means? Okay, so the option is B only, number 2. So this means intertwined. Okay, like we make plates. For the visually impaired candidates, so in the given sentence taken from paragraph 1, select the option that correctly replaces the underlined word. Okay, so a vertical gardening is a unique method of gardening. So underlined word is unique. Okay, so we are going to put the antonym. So answer is the options are an indefinite, B an exclusive, C a combined, D a standard. So the opposite of unique is standard. The next question, infer one benefit and one drawback of vertical gardening in comparison to other solutions such as community gardens or parks. 40 words. One advantage of vertical gardening is that they can be installed in small areas, adding to the beauty of the city. One of the disadvantages of vertical gardening would be its high cost of installation and the maintenance, as they would not grow naturally like gardens on ground. The next question, which of the following is the main takeaway from the study mentioned in the passage? Options, vertical gardening has minimal impact on the environment or well-being. Vertical gardening is sustainable practice that can transform urban spaces into green areas. Number C, the impact of vertical gardening on the environment and human well-being has already been thoroughly explored. Number D, the study needs to include experts from horticulture firms to offer any recommendations for further research. So answer is B, vertical gardening is a sustainable practice that can transform urban spaces into green areas. Now let us move on to grammar. In grammar, we will have to complete any 10 of the 12 following tasks. First one, fill in the blanks using correct form of the word in the bracket. Yes, sir, this is with reference to committee's letter of recommendation that dash highlight the nominations for safe residential areas award for this current year. The answer is highlights. Okay, so it is, we are talking about the letter, it highlights. Next question, read the given sentence from the receipt review article, identify error and supply the correction in the sentence. This delightful recipe must keep your hunger pangs at bay with its balanced spices and oriental flavor. So this is the format in which is given, and the answer is here, instead of delightful recipe must keep, so the answer will be will keep your hunger pangs at bay. Next question, Abhilasha and Neha had conversation about the inauguration of Neha's dance academy. Report Abhilasha's question. The question is your friend helping you in this venture? The answer will be, Abhilasha asked Neha if her best friend was helping her in that venture. Okay, so this is direct to indirect. Read the dialogue between Sabnam and her mentor Sarah regarding the summer internship program. So Sarah says, why did you choose to participate in this internship program? Sabnam says, I am convinced this program has the potential to enhance my abilities. You have to select the correct option to complete the reporting of the dialogue. Sarah asks Sabnam dash in that internship program. Sabnam sighed and exclaimed that she was convinced that program had the potential to enhance her abilities. What is the correct option? The option A, why to choose to participate, B, to choose participation, C, why she had chosen to participate, D, why, with her choice in participating. Answer is why she had chosen to participate. Next question, fill the blank by choosing the correct option. To complete the concluding line of an issued circular by an organization to its managers. A copy of the plan is enclosed and this may be communicated to all team leaders of compliance. So answer is this. Next question, identify the error and supply correction for the given sentence from commercial company's current marketing strategy. The company aimed at increasing authority in areas frequently visited by clients. So here the error is aimed, company aims, okay. So the correction will be aims. Why? So it is in present tense, are frequently visited, so it is in present tense, so it will be aims instead of aimed. Next, select the option that identifies the error and supplies the correction for the closing line from an analytical report. In conclusion, this study explores the association among short sleep pattern and overweight youngsters. So what is the error? Their options are given. A, explores, explore, B, and or, C, among, between, D, in, for. So here it won't be among, it will be between, because we are talking about two things, short sleep patterns and overweight users. We use among when we are talking about more than two things. Next, complete the given narrative by filling the blank with correct option. The experience of nursing an injured bird left me dash grateful for knowing the importance of being kind and compassionate to all creatures. Answer is feeling. Next one, report the dialogue between the vendor and his customer by completing the sentence. Vendor, it is nice to see you, sir. Customer, yes, indeed. Unlike last month, I have been away for quite some time this month. The vendor greeted his customer respectfully and mentioned that he was pleased to see him. The customer answered in affirmative and explained that unlike the previous month, he had been away for quite some time that month. So answer is unlike previous month, he had been away for quite some time that month. Let us move to the next question. Fill in the blanks by choosing the correct option to complete the live feed on school news channel. Congratulations, Changemakers! The regional competition awards have been announced and our school music club dash first prize. So answer is has won. Options are given: had been won, will win, was winning, and has won. So answer is D, has won. Why? Because it is something that has just been completed and the effect is still there. Next, complete the line from self-awareness song by filling the blank while with the correct option. Next is complete the line from the self-awareness song by filling the correct option. The river runs through your veins, the trees and mountains dash your name, the moon and stars watch over, you're guiding your way back home to dream the night away. So options are will call, be call, C had called, and D calls. Answer is call. Next one, identify the error and supply the correction for the following note in passenger's flight instruction manual. Note, passengers will not reach the airport late in order to avoid a fine equivalent to 5% of basic fare. So what is the error? Instead of will, it will be should. Next we move on to the writing portion. As Vaishali Nathani of 214 Narayani Apartments, Vaishali Street, Daipur, you believe that forming ecology clubs and appointing eco-minders in your city can aid in preservation and conservation of litter. So you will have to write a letter to the MLA of your city area in about 120 words, suggesting the need to form such clubs, share their importance and implications, recommend an involvement of resident volunteers for implementation. So we are going to use the correct addresses. First, the sender's address, then leaving a line, the date without any commas, then the receiver's address, leave a line, put the subject. Subject is suggestion regarding the need to form ecology clubs. So we should be underlining this. Okay. The salutation, sir, I am writing, you can put madam also. So the salutation, sir, you can put madam also. I am writing this letter to express my concerns about the environmental degradation in our city and to suggest a solution for preserving nature. In my opinion, forming ecology clubs and appointing eco-minders in our city will help conserving nature. Resident volunteers should run these ecology clubs to preserve nature and take up steps like planting trees, water harvesting, creating compost piles, and creating awareness campaigns to protect the local ecosystem. Involving residents in these activities will instill a sense of responsibility towards nature and will be beneficial in the long run. These ecology clubs will help in reducing pollution levels and encourage sustainable practices and help preserving biodiversity. Looking into the increasing levels of pollution, forming ecology club is a must to help residents live a healthy life in a clean and green environment. I request you to kindly consider the suggestion to help the residents live a better life through conservation of nature. Yours sincerely, Vaishali Nathani, and this should be the signature and the name at the bottom. Or you can attempt this question as Arman Khan, the school's literary captain of Ujjwal Academy, Old City, Kiladrabad. You believe that languages can help bridge regional divides and promote unity. Write a letter to the editor of a national daily in about 120 words, suggesting that the introduction of an online regional language learning program managed and run by student councils and language club in the city. The program aims to help residents who have recently relocated to a new region in picking up local language organically, share the importance and credibility of such programs, and suggest feasible ways to execute it with possible activities. It is of 5 marks. So first the sender's address, date, the editor, subject, you have to underline this subject, introduction of online regional language learning programs. Then you leave a line and write, dear sir or madam, and then the introductory paragraph. I'm writing this letter. Here you have to mention why you are writing that letter. I'm writing this letter to suggest the introduction of an online regional language learning program to help the recently relocated residents of our city to bridge regional divides with the local residents. It would promote mutual understanding and generate unity among residents. This online program run by student councils and language clubs can help these residents pick up the local language organically. The course may be conducted only through evening classes for 2 months, making it feasible for participants to attend without affecting their work or studies. Activities like cultural fairs, group discussions, and language exchange programs on the virtual platform can be conducted to make this program successful. Through the columns of your reputed Delhi, I look forward to getting community support for this program. The program will help promote brotherhood by removing language barriers with the help and will help in bringing unity in the society. Yours truly, Arman Khan, the signature, Arman Khan, designation Captain, Literary Club. The next question is, Sering of class 10 is contesting for the post of junior school captain in the upcoming student council elections. Given below is her character traits graphic shared in public domain by the school councillor for the awareness of student voters at school. So it says she is an average academic performer, is less impulsive but highly sensitive, maintains a disciplined study routine, helps his peers in their difficulties, believes in one for all and all for one, thrives only on appreciation, exhibits good decision-making skills, focuses on excellent outcome. All Sering's peers have been asked to write a paragraph in about 120 words analyzing these traits to either support or oppose her candidature. As one of her peers, write this analytical paragraph by selecting some of the traits that support your analysis. You may begin like this, so the beginning lines will be given and the ending lines will be given. As a responsible student voter, I believe Sering does not possess the necessary traits to be a school captain. You may end like this. For this reason, I believe she has or does not have the potential to be a good school captain and support or oppose her candidature. So the possible answer in support of her candidature could be, as a responsible student voter, I believe Sering possesses the necessary traits to be a school captain. She is goal-oriented and works hard towards it. She has good decision-making skills and focuses on excellent outcome. Her democratic spirit is exhibited in her belief one for all and all for one. Though she is average in academics, she is disciplined and maintains study routine. Further, she always helps out her peers to overcome personal and academic problems. Though sensitive in nature, she does not act on impulse. Moreover, her desire for appreciation will be instrumental in achieving her goals. For these reasons, I believe she has the potential to be a good school captain and I support her candidature. The answer opposing her candidature could be, as a responsible student voter, I believe Sering does not possess the necessary traits to be a school captain. Though she is goal-oriented and maintains a study routine, her academic results do not reflect her sincerity. She believes in one for all and all for one and also focuses on excellent outcome. However, this might ultimately lead to her overlooking the contributions of others. Although her leadership skills are admirable, she is very sensitive, which might be a hindrance performing her duties without any biases. Also, her desire for seeking appreciation may lead to her overlooking the greater benefits of the school community. Further, her helping nature may provide to be a distraction in her duties needed for effective functioning of school. For these reasons, I believe she does not have the potential to be a good school captain and oppose her candidature. Or you can attempt this question: as the captain of the school's cultural club, you have been asked to study the given itinerary provided by the tour organizing vendor. A 3N by 2D educational tour for the senior school students, Jabalpur and Ranha National Park, Bandya Pradesh. Okay, so itinerary, the plan that is made for a tour program. So what is included? Tour and travel, sightseeing by bus, accommodation on quad sharing basis, one staff complimentary for 20 students, bottled mineral water throughout the tour, a dance party on 22nd November, insurance policy of 20,000 per head, provision of tour manager's assistant to all places. Analyze this itinerary to either approve or reject tour proposal while focusing on the student's safety, interest and physical wellness. Write this analytical paragraph about 120 words by selecting features that support your analysis. You may begin like this. A thorough analysis of the itinerary provided by the tour organizing vendor reveals that the tour proposal should be accepted or you can write it should be rejected. You may end like this. Therefore, the tour proposal for the educational trip should be approved or rejected. Let us see what 8:49 Nagpur Junction. Estimate time of arrival 5:23 p.m. Reporting at hotel. Next day 9 a.m. At departure at 9 a.m. from hotel, and estimate time of arrival at Bhavartal Garden in at 10 a.m. Next, at 11 a.m., the departure is from Bhavartal Garden, and they arrive at Bedaghat Dhuadhar Fall at 11:40 a.m. Next, after departure at 12:40 p.m. from Dhuadhar Falls, they have lunch at 1 p.m. At a nearby restaurant. They leave restaurant at 2 p.m. and arrive at Marble Rocks cable car tour at 2:15 p.m. In 3:45 p.m. they leave Marble Rocks and reach Rani Durgavati Museum at 4:45 p.m. They leave the museum at 6:15 p.m. On the next day, they leave at 5:30 a.m. from the hotel and reach Ranha Tiger Reserve at 9:30 a.m. Next, they leave at 4:30 and come back to hotel at 9 p.m. On 25th, they depart from Jabbalpur station at 7:54 a.m. and reach Nagpur railway station at 4:21 p.m. So the possible answers for accepting the proposal can be: a thorough analysis of the itinerary provided by the tour organizing vendor reveals that the tour proposal should be accepted. The tour is well planned and includes several activities and sightseeing for the students. The dance party will help students to connect with each other and make the tour entertaining. The visits to Bhartal Garden, Bedaghat, Dhuadhar Falls, Marble Rock Cable Car Tour and Rani Durgavati Museum will offer a vast range of valuable experiences for budding minds. The visit to Ranha Tiger Reserve will allow students to connect with nature and wildlife. Bottled mineral water insurance policy and tour managers' assistance will take care of the health factor and ensure the safety and well-being of the students. The complementary staff provided for every 20 students will add to the security of the students. Therefore, the tour proposal for the educational trip should. The possible answer for rejecting the proposal could be: a thorough analysis of the itinerary provided by the tour organizing vendor reveals that the tour proposal should be rejected. The itinerary shows that 2-day tour will be an extremely hectic one. The tour includes long journey from Nagpur to Jabbalpur followed by a dance party, which is not suitable for an educational tour. The visits to Bhavartal Garden, Bedaghat Dhuadhar Falls, Marble Rock Cable Car Tour and Rani Durgavati Museum on the same day will be exhausting. Leaving for Ranha at 5:30 a.m. the next day and spending the entire day at Ranha will be tiring and hamper their learning experience. Moreover, the quality of hotels has not been mentioned and quad sharing basis might not suit students on such a hectic tour. Hence, considering the well-being of students, the tour proposal for educational trip should be rejected. Next, we move on to literature part. Read the given extracts and answer the question of any one of the two given. These are 5 marks. The question he tried to answer was, what is gold spots on monarch pupa? Everyone assumed the spots were just ornamental, Bright said, but Dr. Urquhart didn't believe it. To find the answer, Bright and another excellent science student first had to build a device that showed that spots were producing a hormone necessary for the butterfly's full development. This project won Bright's first place in the country fair and entry into the natural science and engineering fair. So, inference about Dr. Urquhart in the given context. Everyone assumed that spots were just ornamental. Bright said, but Dr. Urquhart didn't believe it. Answer: Dr. Urquhart was an open-minded scientist who questioned the conventional wisdom and wanted to find an alternative explanation for the phenomena. Next question, we have to state whether this is true or false. The question says none of the terms A to D below can be applied to the question, what is the purpose of the 12 tiny gold spots on a monarch pupa? It is a hypothesis, a proposed explanation for a phenomena. It is an assumption on something that is taken for granted or assumed to be true, a premise, a proposition that forms the basis of an argument, and a theory, a well substantiated explanation for a natural phenomena. Okay, so it is true that it is a statement in form of a question. Ebright's approach towards finding the purpose of gold spots on a monarch pupa was highly effective. Elaborate in about 40 words with reference to the extract. Ebright's approach was highly effective in finding the actual utility of the gold spots on a monarch pupa, as he built a device that showed the spots produce a hormone that helped in the butterfly's full development. He proved that gold spots were not merely ornamental, which earned him recognition in science fairs and provided him with opportunities to work in research laboratories. Next question is, which phrase should a given sentence substitute a chance in the given sentence? He also got a chance to work during the summer. So he also got an opportunity. Okay, so an opportunity can substitute this word a chance. You can also attempt this question with Lomov's dialogue. It's cold, I'm trembling all over as if I have just got an examination before me. The great thing is I must have my mind made up. If I give myself time to think, to hesitate, to talk, to look for an ideal or real life, then I'll never get married. Brr, it's cold. Natalia Stepanova is an excellent housekeeper, not bad looking, well educated. What more do I want? Okay. So, which of the following is not a reason why Lomov thinks he must marry? So, he's already 35 years old, he suffers from palpitations, he's excitable and easily upset, he's in love with Natalia. So, all three are true, first three options are true. So, he is not at all in love with Natalia. He is marrying her just because it is suitable. Why is it fair to say that Lomov's tone when he says, what more do I want, is uncertain and questioning? You have to answer in 40 words. Answer could be, Lomov's tone is uncertain and questioning because he is unsure of his decision to marry Natalia. He seems to be struggling with doubts and fears regarding the outcome of the decision and trying to convince and reassure himself that he had made the correct decision. So he is reassuring himself. Read the following description A to C and identify which one correctly corresponds to the extract. A debate is a formal discussion on a particular topic, usually with two or more people presenting different viewpoints and arguments. A soliloquy is a speech given by a character alone on stage which reveals their innermost thoughts and feelings. An aside is a comment or remark made by a character directly to the audience which is not intended to be heard by other characters on stage. So the answer is B, a soliloquy, which is a speech given by a character which reveals their innermost thoughts. Next question, were to enact this extract, what would he be required to focus on while modulating his voice? Yes, the actor would have to modulate his voice to express the doubt and nervousness that the character is feeling. So he has to express the doubt and nervousness. Let us move to the next question. Read the given extracts and answer the questions for any one of the two given. It is of 5 marks. But if it had to perish twice, I think I know enough hate to say that for destruction ice is also great and would suffice. This is an extract from Fire and Ice. Fill in the blank with one word. When the speaker says that ice could also bring about the end of the world, he refers to hatred as means of destruction. The other possible answers could be apathy, bitterness, detachment, indifference, and rigidity. What does the speaker's alignment with those who favor ice suggest? The speaker's alignment with those favoring ice suggests that both the poet and supporters of ice have experienced that indifference and lack of compassion have enough force to bring about destruction of the world. The next question, which of the following best describes the speaker's attitudes towards destruction caused by ice? The options are indifferent, fearful, dismissive. The answer is D, respectful, because of the use of the word great. Next, comment on the poet's use of language in these lines. The poem has a conversational tone written in simple language. The simplicity of the language helps in spreading the profound message regarding the destructive forces of fire and ice to a wider audience. Or you can attempt this. The fog comes on little cat feet. It sits looking over the harbor and city on silent haunches and then moves on. In what way does the language used in this poem challenge traditional ideas of what poetry should be? Unlike traditional poetry, which has complex rhyme schemes and sentences beginning with capital letters, this poetry has lines beginning with small letters to show that it is a continuation of the same line. The poet uses simple everyday language to create vivid images to compare the arrival and departure of the fog with that of a cat. Next question is, what is the significance of the use of the word little to describe the fog in the poem, and how does this word choice contribute to the overall mood and tone of the poem? The answer in about 40 words. The word little has been used dexterously by the poet to convey the harmless nature of the fog. The word little evokes sense of vulnerability and innocence in our minds. It also describes the quiet and subtle manner in which the fog arrives. The next question. Complete the sentence with the appropriate option. The lines from the poetry tell us the city is what type of city? Hilly, coastal, industrial, underdeveloped. It is a coastal one. Okay, because of the port. Identify the type of imagery used in the lines of the poem. The poet has used vivid imagery for the description of the cat and kinesthetic imagery for the movement of the poem. Answer any four of the following 5 questions in about 40 to 50 words. That is, you have to, this is of 12 marks. Justify the opinion that the traditional baker and his bread play a significant role in cultural and social fabric of Goan society. Glimpses of India. The answer is the traditional baker and his bread is interwoven in the social fabric of the Goan society. The traditional bakers bake with their time-tested methods in their age-old furnaces. Their bread is a symbol of Portuguese society and is an essential part of the Goan cuisine and culture. Next question, how does Leslie Norris use vivid imagery and metaphorical language in A Tiger in the Zoo to effectively depict the confinement and oppression experienced by the captive tiger? The answer is the confinement and oppression of the confined tiger is depicted through vivid imagery like stalks in his vivid stripes, pads of velvet quiet in his quiet rage, stalking the length of his cage, ignoring visitors, which portray his anger and frustration in being caged. Lines, stares with his brilliant eyes at the brilliant stars, express his yearning for living a free life in his natural habitat. Let's move to the next question. Explain how the description of the devastation caused by the hailstorm reflects the sadness within Lenko in A Letter to God. Refer to the given answer could be the lines. we can quote the lines, is a metaphorical description of the inner state of Lenko's devastated mind. The emptiness and desolation of nature is a reflection of the magnitude of emptiness and despair that ravaged Lenko's mind after the destruction of the crop, which was his sole means of livelihood. This question is, Kitty was a trusted friend to Annie. Elaborate. Right at the beginning of the writing of her diary, Danny decided that she would adopt a different approach to write her diary. Rather than merely jotting down events, she would treat the diary as her imaginary best friend and confide her innermost feelings to her. She named her diary Kitty, who became her most trusted friend, a friend who would not judge her and to whom she could open her heart out. How does Ogden Nash in The Tale of Custard the Dragon challenge the notion that individuals should conform to societal expectations? The poem depicts characters that are different from what the society expects. Belinda is independent, brave, ruthless, possessing traits that are usually associated with masculinity. On one hand, Ink, Blink, and Mustard are portrayed as weak and fallible, but they act courageously simply to conform to societal expectations, while on the other hand, Custard, who is actually courageous, does not conform to social expectations and cries for a safe cage. Thus, the poem tells us that everyone has their unique talents and should pursue their passions and stop being stereotypes. Next, in question number 9, you will have to answer two of the three questions in 40 to 50 words from Footprints Without Feet. The story A Triumph of Surgery is a powerful example of the importance of saying no. Explain. The story is a strong example of the importance of saying no when it comes to making decisions about the well-being of others. Despite the advice given by Mr. Harriot, Mr. Pumphrey is unable to stop herself from overfeeding Tricky, who becomes sick due to overindulgence. As Mrs. Pumphrey is unable to say no, Harriot is forced to take Tricky to the surgery and make Tricky go without food till he regains his appetite. Tricky leads a normal life like all other dogs and becomes well. Next, how does education play a transformative role in Bholi's life? Bholi led an unhappy life because she was taken to be a simpleton. It was education that gave her the opportunity to gain self-confidence, break the shackles of patriarchy, and choose her own path. Education transformed her into a girl who is able to fight against oppression and challenge societal norms. Now let us move to the next question. The various elements of Robert Arthur's writing style work together to create sense of tension, uncertainty and suspense, well suited to the mystery and suspense genre of the story. The Midnight Visitor. Comment with reference to any one element. The author has used short punchy sentences to build up the pace and create a sense of urgency. Puns and ambiguity in dialogue creates a sense of suspense and uncertainty. The gradual binding of suspense through the story keeps the reader hooked and is well suited to the genre of mystery stories. Next, we will have to write any one of the following two questions in 100 to 120 words. You have been asked to present the evaluation of the approaches of the mothers of both the baby seagull and Amanda towards helping their children. Write this presentation draft including your insights in about 120 words comparing the approaches of both parents. You may begin this way. One acknowledges that both parents, Amanda's mother and the baby seagull's mother, are both concerned about their child's well-being. The answer could be one acknowledges that both parents, Amanda's mother and the baby seagull's mother, both are concerned about their child's well-being. However, they differ in their approaches towards guiding them towards a path that is beneficial for them. The seagull's mother tried to cajole him into taking his first flight by pushing him out of his comfort zone. By initially threatening to starve him, she was confident of his capabilities and knew that his fears were baseless. She was finally able to trick him into taking his first flight by offering him scraps of fish. This positive reinforcement ultimately helped the baby seagull realize his capabilities and succeed. However, Amanda's mother constantly pointed out her negative traits and created an atmosphere of tension society from which Amanda yearned to escape. By constantly nagging her about her shortcomings, he paved the way for Amanda to undermine her capacities, develop a low self-esteem, and affecting her mental health. In comparison, both mothers had their children's well-being in their mind, but their approaches differed. Focusing on strengths and positive reinforcement is always more effective, as seen in case of the seagull's mother. Or you may attempt this question. You have been chosen to address a student gathering from the neighborhood schools to speak on the resilience of human spirit required to transcend discrimination. Prepare a speech draft not more than 120 words with reference to the commonality of themes in Nelson Mandela's Long Walk to Freedom and The Trees by Adrian Rich. You may begin like this. Good morning, everyone. Today I'd like to discuss two pieces of literature that offer powerful insight into the resilience of human spirit required to transcend discrimination. So the answer could begin like this, and we can elaborate. Both pieces of literature deal with oppression and discrimination against the section of the society. In Long Walk to Freedom, the discrimination is against the blacks, while in The Trees, the discrimination is against women and nature. Mandela speaks about the struggle for freedom from oppression of the whites. He says that true freedom involves breaking the chains of the mind. Rich too speaks about pulling out the roots that keep women chained to their houses. Women too were marginalized in the society and broke free from oppression through grit and hard work. Both the text and the poetry show that human resilience has the power to transcend discrimination. To conclude, we may say that both the pieces of literature deal with the common themes of discrimination and struggle to achieve equality. Both these pieces of literature speak of the strength of human spirit and the importance of standing up for what one believes in. It is through resilience of the human spirit that we can move towards a more just and equal world and build a better future for the coming generations. Next, we have to write a long answer from Footprints Without Feet. Imagine that Monsieur Loisel from Necklace by Guy de Maupassant writes a diary entry exploring the theme of class and social status and the nature of social mobility in the context of his own experience. Write this diary entry as M. Loisel in about 120 words. 1st December, Sunday, 10 p.m. Able to pay off the debt which I took for purchasing the necklace, it seems to me that a huge burden has been removed from my shoulders. I don't blame Matilde for borrowing the expensive necklace and losing it. It is the society that is responsible for her behavior. The pressure of keeping up a social status pushed her to appear more well-dressed than what we could really afford. The society is structured in a manner that people who can flaunt their wealth get respect, irrespective. Simple-minded people like Matilde fall into the trap of pretending to belong to a higher social status with a desire of upward social mobility. As a result, people lose whatever they have along with their peace and happiness. We have learnt our lesson and wish that people would become more aware of the dangers of showing off a social status to which they don't belong and focus on their own development. Next question is, a character arc is the transformation or development of a character through the story and refers to the changes a character undergoes as a result of their experiences, challenges and interactions with other characters. In the light of the above information, trace the character arc of the thief in Ruskin Bond's The Thief's Story in about 120 words. The answer could be like this. The character of the thief's story goes through a complete transformation in the thief's story. The thief is initially portrayed as an experienced criminal who wants to exploit the trusting nature of Anil by introducing himself as Hari. Anil, however, educates and teaches him life skills like cooking. The thief waits for an opportunity to rob Anil, and he gets opportunity when Anil gets paid for his book. The transformation reaches its peak when the thief steals Anil's money and waits to board the train. He ponders about the consequences of his actions and decides to return back to Anil and focus on his inner development, which would enable him to lead a respectable life. Therefore, the thief's character completes its arc and he emerges as a better person with a moral conscience. I hope you have benefited from this video. Please place a like, comment and subscribe to this channel for more informative videos.